PSG has seriously set its sights on a Real Madrid star. Will this audacious move work? Joao Felix's new club seems to be no longer a secret. But that's not all. Chelsea is trying to snatch a young talent from Bayern Munich themselves, and it looks like Xavi is returning to big football. Xavi is reportedly ready to take charge of an Italian giant. All this and much more in today's episode. Friends, let's aim for 500 thumbs up on this video. It will motivate us to keep making videos. So, enjoy watching and let's get started. Manchester City? The club that not so long ago, with Guardiola and Haaland, was dominating the top of the table, is now teetering on the very edge of the abyss. They're facing the possibility of a massive 40-point deduction. Yes, 40. Not 4, not 14, but a full 40 points. That's more than some teams manage to earn in an entire season. Shocking, isn't it? In case you missed it, the citizens are being accused of breaching financial fair play rules. Here's the gist. The club has been spending far beyond their actual financial means. They allegedly used creative accounting, inflated revenue streams. It's basically the football equivalent of a con artist's playbook. And there's no shortage of evidence for the charges, a staggering 115 allegations of breaches over several years. The hearings have already wrapped up, but the final verdict is still pending. And here's the million-dollar question. Where will City fall? Will they plummet down the table or cling to the edge? Current rumours paint all kinds of scenarios, from a points deduction to relegation or even a transfer ban. If the club does indeed lose those 40 points, they would tumble from 4th place to the very bottom of the table, with a solitary 1 point for the season. Can you picture that? But there's another possibility. Many insiders are convinced that City will get off with just a financial penalty. Why? Because they're not acting like a club on the brink of disaster. If anything, their behaviour suggests confidence rather than panic. They're still signing players, investing £400 million in their infrastructure. Let me ask you this. Would you be spending that kind of cash revamping your house if you thought it might be taken away tomorrow? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Right now, the FA has a golden opportunity to prove that even the giants of English football aren't untouchable. After all, in the wake of the massive scandal involving Everton, who were docked points, it seems like the Premier League's appetite for cracking down is growing. But it's worth noting that this investigation against City has dragged on for years. Why the delay? Perhaps because even the Premier League knows that punishing a club of this size is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's about protecting the league's integrity. On the other, it could hurt their own profits. Let's be honest, without Manchester City, TV ratings and overall interest in the league would undoubtedly take a hit. So, how will all this end? Will the club's shiny facade of success crumble under the weight of sanctions, or will City emerge as the triumphant hero of this financial drama? What do you think? Will this scandal end with relegation, a points deduction, or will it all blow over quietly once again? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on all the latest news. Xavi isn't one to sit idle, and it looks like his return to coaching is just a matter of time. Reports in Spain suggest that Xavi is planning to return to coaching this summer, and it won't be a lengthy hiatus like Zidane's, waiting for his perfect club. Xavi is like Zidane, but without the taking a break mode. He wants an ambitious project, but is immediately ruling out a return to Spain. Why? Well, firstly, Barcelona is a closed door for him right now, with Laporta in charge. And secondly, swapping Barcelona fans' love for any other Spanish club is, as they say, not the done thing. And that's where Juventus comes into the picture. L'Équipe claims that Turin has already floated some initial, albeit unofficial, feelers his way. This makes sense considering Juve's current results are painful to watch. Thiago Motta's unbeaten run sounded good, but then the first defeat arrived, and at the hands of Conte, who literally snatched victory despite all the odds. Motta, of course, isn't perfect. His hybrid football requires patience, time, and, honestly, a decent bench, which he doesn't have yet. But Juventus's management is clearly not in a patient mood. For them, Xavi is a chance to rally the youth, just like he did at Barca. Remember how he pulled that team out of chaos? He's not just a coach, but, dare I say, a builder against all odds. But the question is Xavi himself ready? Italy is a completely different world. Here, you need more catenaccio, less tiki-taka. And the expectations of Turin fans aren't just high, they're sky high. But if Juve wants results here and now, Xavi is an ideal candidate. What do you think? Is Xavi a good fit for Juventus, or should Thiago Motta be given more time? Let me know in the comments who you think would be the perfect coach for the old lady. Remember how Bayern treated Tell like he was the crown jewel? The new Lewandowski! A future star! The headlines screamed. And what's the result? The guy is sitting on the bench as if someone put an invisibility cloak on him. Vincent Kompany, it seems, has decided that the 19-year-old talent looks better as a bench warmer than a goal scorer. Well, that's some rock-solid logic, isn't it? And now, here's the news straight from Fabrizio Romano himself. Tell apparently has made up his mind. He's packing his bags and ready to bolt from Bayern before the transfer window closes. As they say, patience isn't infinite, not even for young stars. And where's he running off to? Of course, Chelsea. Chelsea, the club that buys everyone and everything like a vacuum cleaner. Do they really need another striker? Well, why not? Their attack seems to be as elastic as it gets. Sure, they've got Nkunku, but he seems to enjoy warming the bench just as much as Tell does. Maybe they're planning to swap Tell for Nkunku. How's that for a little magic trick? Bayern, by the way, wouldn't mind taking Christopher back to the Bundesliga, the endless cycle of French players in football. But Chelsea isn't the only one moving fast. Rumour has it there's a line of top Premier League clubs interested in Tell. The guy's talented, no doubt about it, young, quick, with a killer shot. As they say, he's a hot commodity on the transfer market, so Chelsea might have to put in some serious effort if they want to land this French wunderkind. And, of course, they'll have to shell out a hefty sum. Bayern doesn't let their stars go cheap. Start preparing at least £40 million, dear Chelsea executives. In short, Tell wants to leave, Chelsea wants to buy, and Bayern is figuring out how to sell him for the highest price. How will it all end? We'll find out very soon. The main thing is that Tell doesn't end up making the wrong choice. What do you think? Is Tell right to decide to leave Bayern? And how do you feel about the Chelsea option? Will he succeed in London? Drop your predictions in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the latest transfer rumours. It seems like just yesterday everyone was raving about Garnacho's breakout at Manchester United. And today, well, today it looks like the lad might be packing his bags. According to Team Talk, Garnacho is ready to say goodbye to Old Trafford as early as January. And what's even more surprising, United themselves apparently aren't against such a move. The Red Devils, who always seem to be in need of cash, see selling Garnacho as a golden opportunity. Why not? He's a homegrown talent after all. Sell him, and the profit is 100% clean, as per the Premier League's financial sustainability rules. Just business, nothing personal, as they say. But wait a second, is United really ready to part ways with such a talented youngster? Or is there more to the story? To add fuel to the fire, Ruben Amorim has chimed in, hinting that maybe Garnacho should think about his future. At the same time, though, he acknowledged that the player seems to be progressing. Of course he is. Sitting on the bench is excellent for developing observational skills, isn't it? In all seriousness, though, Garnacho has only started twice in United's last 7 Premier League matches. And now, 2 clubs are reportedly in the mix for him. Chelsea, who seem to be buying everyone they can get their hands on, and Napoli, who are eager to strengthen their squad. Word is that Napoli is already deep in negotiations, trying to drive down the price for the 20-year-old Argentine. Looks like they're hoping to snag a star on the cheap. And Chelsea? Chelsea is biding their time, ready to swoop in at any moment. As for Garnacho himself, he was reportedly not too interested in the idea of leaving not so long ago, but now it seems like the young man is starting to think about guaranteed playing time. And you can't blame him. Who wants to warm the bench at 20 when the blood is boiling and all you want to do is play? They say Napoli is ready to offer £50 million for Garnacho. United, however, wants £65 million. A difference of £10 million, peanuts by football standards. But it could be the deciding factor in the transfer. If Garnacho does leave, United will have the funds for new players who fit Amorim's system. Sounds like a mantra at this point, doesn't it? But the fact remains, Garnacho's departure would pave the way for new signings. So, who will United bring in to replace him? Another unknown for an outrageous price? Time will tell. What do you think about this situation? Do you believe Garnacho will leave, and which team would suit him better? Share your thoughts in the comments. It seems like PSG has decided to play chess with Real Madrid once again. The French club apparently wants to sign Rodrygo, the Brazilian star of Real Madrid. But there's one little twist. This isn't just about sports, it's also about revenge. Yes, you heard that right. Revenge for Kylian Mbappé, who made his way to Real Madrid last summer. What did you expect? Transfers like that don't happen without consequences. Rodrygo isn't just a winger, he's a potential leader of the attack. Luis Enrique has made it clear. This guy is fundamental. And it's no surprise, Rodrygo is in such incredible form right now that opposing defenders probably see him in their nightmares. But there's one tiny little problem. Real Madrid has no intention of letting their Brazilian go. Why? Because Rodrygo's contract includes a release clause. And how much do you think it is? €1 billion. Yep, folks, this isn't some clearance sale. That's a price tag so high PSG would need to do more than just put on a show. They'd probably have to sell half of Paris to pull off a transfer like that. And this is where things get interesting. French media are reporting that PSG still plans to put pressure on Madrid. How could they not? Especially since Real Madrid president Florentino Perez is clearly not a fan of any negotiations with PSG. After the Mbappé saga, relations between the two clubs are, to put it mildly, tense. But what's driving PSG? Is it just their admiration for Rodrygo's talent, or is it really about poking Real Madrid? Mbappé's departure was a personal blow for PSG, and now they seem determined to settle the score. The question is, are Madridistas ready for this exchange of blows? As for Rodrygo himself, everything looks calm for now. He's happy at Real Madrid and recently extended his contract until 2028. But if PSG were to offer not just money, but some kind of incredible conditions, like making him the undisputed star of the team, who knows? Football is always a game full of surprises. What do you think? Can PSG pull off this transfer, or is it just hype and psychological pressure on Real Madrid? Let us know in the comments how you would act if you were in Rodrygo's shoes. It seems Cristiano Ronaldo has finally found a strike partner. Al-Nassr is in the final stretch of their pursuit of John Duran from Aston Villa. The English club has been hesitant for a long time, but reportedly, they are ready to accept an offer in the region of €70 million. So, is Duran already packing his bags for Saudi Arabia? Or is this just another transfer saga? Rumours of Duran's transfer have been circulating for a while. Both PSG and Real Madrid were said to be interested in him. In fact, insiders claimed that the Los Blancos even considered offering Endrick in exchange for him. But it seems that Saudi Arabia has become the new mecca of football contracts, and Al-Nassr isn't holding back. 70 million? Why not? Especially if it'll make Ronaldo happier. After all, Cristiano has reportedly been pushing for reinforcements in attack to help the team compete for titles. Now, picture this: Ronaldo and Duran leading the attack. What a duo. But wait, who exactly is John Duran? He's 21 years old, with 12 goals in 29 matches for Aston Villa. Not bad, but not exactly Erling Haaland level, right? The main issue is that he rarely starts, as Unai Emery prefers Ollie Watkins. Apparently, Duran himself is tired of sitting on the bench and wouldn't mind trying his luck as Ronaldo's partner. But here's the question: who will be the main star? Do you really think Ronaldo will share the spotlight? Good luck with that, John. So why has Aston Villa suddenly changed their mind and decided to let him go? Because money talks, and £80+ million is an argument that's hard to ignore. Plus, there are reportedly internal disagreements within the club, so perhaps they're offloading a potential source of conflict. West Ham also made an offer, but it was so laughable that Emery didn't even consider it. Meanwhile, the generous Saudi offer is much more convincing. Alright, let's assume the deal goes through. What does this mean? First, Al-Nassr is continuing to build a star-studded squad to keep Ronaldo happy. Second, Europe is once again losing a promising forward who could have made a name for himself in a top league. And third, it's another troubling sign. Big money is once again triumphing over sporting ambition. Or is this just the new normal? What do you think? Is Duran making the right choice by heading to Saudi Arabia? Or should he have waited for an offer from Real Madrid or PSG? Joao Felix, a guy who cost Chelsea €52 million but has so far brought the team about as much value as a broken mouse at a gaming tournament. What's next? Right now, the Blues are trying to offload him to Aston Villa or AC Milan. But who's willing to take the risk and accept this gift? Let's start with the numbers. €52 million. That's the price paid for a player who, in 6 months, has managed to start just 3 Premier League matches. The rest of the time, Felix has been warming the bench, watching as Cole Palmer steals his spot. Enzo Maresca insists these are tactical decisions. Tactical? Or is it more like, we just don't know what to do with him? At the moment, there are two suitors for Felix, AC Milan and Aston Villa. Milan wants to take him on loan with an option to buy. Makes sense. If it doesn't work out, they can just walk away. Aston Villa, however, seems more serious. They're ready for a direct transfer, cash on the table. And guess which option Chelsea prefers? Of course, the one that gets them money right now. But why is Unai Emery so interested in Felix? Does he see some hidden potential in him? Or is this one of those cases where you buy something on sale because it might come in handy? Supposedly, Emery is a big fan of Felix. But Unai, are you really sure you know what you're doing? All this drama is unfolding under the pressure of the transfer deadline. The window closes on February 3rd. It's like the last minute before a store shuts. You have to grab something to avoid regrets later. But is there any guarantee that Felix will suddenly shine at his new club? Or is his career just going to keep sliding downhill? Here's another interesting point. Felix isn't just a striker. He can play as a second forward, a left winger, or even a false nine. A versatile player, you might say. More like a jack of all trades, master of none. So, where will Joao Felix end up? At Milan, where he could get a chance to reboot his career, or at Aston Villa, who seem ready to risk it all to sign him. Or maybe he'll just stay at Chelsea, continuing to sit on the bench and earn a fortune for it. Do you still believe Felix can become a star, or has he already missed his chance? Casemiro, the Brazilian tank, the hero of last season who dominated the pitch like the fate of the world depended on him. Remember how he distributed passes, won tackles, and was the undisputed king of Old Trafford? Ah, those were the days. But as they say, what's done is done. A new coach, new rules. Ruben Amorim seems to have decided that Casemiro in his tactical system is like a fifth wheel on a cart. Or like an expensive smartphone that can only make calls. A thing of value, sure, but not quite what's needed, right? Just think about it. Casemiro, one of the club's highest paid players, is warming the bench. He comes on as a substitute like they're sending him out to dust the pitch. And this is after he was a key player. That's football for you. One day you're a hero, the next, well, you get the idea. And now, Roma appears on the horizon. The Roman Wolves seem to have caught the scent of his experience and skill. Rumor has it they wouldn't mind taking Casemiro on loan until the end of the season. Of course, that's assuming they manage to sell Paredes. It's like that old joke. To sell something you don't need, you first have to buy something you don't need. You get the irony, right? But there's one small issue: Casemiro's salary. £375,000 a week. That's a tiny problem. United, of course, wants to sell him outright, preferably to Saudi Arabia. But apparently, the Saudis aren't exactly lining up just yet. Maybe they're waiting for a discount. Or maybe they think they already have enough stars. Italy, though, is a slower, more measured style of football. For 33-year-old Casemiro, it might not be a bad option. As they say, time to dust off the boots and play some tactical chess-like football. To remember what it's like to be in the starting 11 again, rather than coming on at the end of matches when everyone else is already exhausted. In short, the situation is murky. Rumours, speculation, insider info, nothing is clear. But one thing is certain, Casemiro might leave United. And who knows, maybe at Roma he'll shine like a star again, or perhaps he'll head to Turkey to reunite with Solskjaer. That's an option too. What do you think? Does Roma need Casemiro, or is it time for him to enjoy a well-deserved retirement on sunny shores? Nico Williams, the 21-year-old Spanish winger, has already become the center of a new transfer drama. And guess what? The main players in this saga are none other than Arsenal and Tottenham. Yes, the North London rivalry is spilling over beyond the pitch. Now, they're battling it out for one of Europe's most talented young players. The price? €58 million. That's the release clause set for the Athletic Club star. And if we believe Psg'S, both clubs are ready to activate it. Nico Williams is all about explosive pace, exquisite dribbling, and the ability to dismantle any defense. At Athletic, he's not just playing, he's shining. He's also proven his worth on the international stage, becoming one of Spain's key players at Euro 2024. Isn't that enough to make top clubs fight for him? But here's the twist. Arsenal and Tottenham have their own plans for Nico. Mikel Arteta clearly sees Williams as someone who can add dynamism to an already powerful attack. Bukayo Saka on the right wing is fantastic, but Nico could be the player to increase competition and provide more tactical options. Considering Arsenal's ambitions to compete for the Premier League title and the Champions League, such a move makes perfect sense. Ange Postecoglou, on the other hand, seems equally keen to add a player of Williams' calibre to his attacking arsenal. With Son increasingly playing centrally, Nico would fit perfectly into a system built on speed and improvisation. But the big question is, can Spurs be convincing enough to lure the young star? After all, the Champions League is a strong argument in Arsenal's favour. €58 million is a hefty price, especially for a player who hasn't yet played in the Premier League. But the market has its own rules, and clubs are willing to pay for potential. The only question is, who will win this battle? Arteta, with his ambitions, or Postecoglou with his rebuilding project? What do you think? Where will Nico go? Share your thoughts in the comments. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the hottest transfer rumours.